I'm also kind of scared of drones now. So if there's a drone just hovering above me here in Germany, I don't like it. I really don't like it. To get back to the dangerous situations, there were a few times we were shot at by, I guess it was artillery, it could be a mortar as well. One time we were just coming back from a mission driving out of Bjarne.
Hey guys, welcome to the Rational Optimization Podcast. My guest today is Bjarne Dietrich. He is a really old friend of mine. I know him since first class and in school. And when the Ukraine war started, he started to go there and to help people. He started to collect donations here, and he really went to the front line. In his normal life, when he's not in Ukraine, he is like a medic in a German hospital. But this story about Ukraine, the last time he told it to me, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And so I asked him if he wanted to come on this podcast and really tell his story, what he experienced on the border, like on the front lines in Ukraine, trying to help the people. So he's not trying to help the soldiers, but the civilians that still live in the areas of the war. So he's bringing them food, he's bringing them medical supplies and different things. And he really experienced some crazy things that maybe many of us can't even really imagine. So this was super interesting. I immensely enjoyed this conversation. Guys, enjoy. How did you come to go to Ukraine for the first time?
Yeah, so the first time was basically when the war started. I remember it pretty good. I was at work and just scrolling through some messages, and suddenly the news popped open, like Russia invaded Ukraine, full-scale invasion and stuff, and I was like, damn, that's so close to us, and somehow I need to help there. There's so much people dying there, and people just don't have anything, and that kind of got me thinking how I could help. And the first thing I planned to do with two colleagues at work, we planned to go to Ukraine as paramedics to join a team with the International Legion, like military shit.
So you're, for the people, you're a medic here.
I'm a paramedic here in Germany. I work in ICU transportation, and basically all the time with intensive care patients.
Wait, ICU transportation is like the...
just the transport. So I'm doing it just inside of the clinic I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to the ICU stations and take the patients for like diagnostics and examinations, operations, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of know what I'm doing in that area. So I figured, just let us go down there. Every hand can help at the moment. So I texted a bit with a few guys who were in Ukraine at that time. It was like the beginning of March. So just a few weeks after the invasion started. And we were texting a little bit, and then the situation changed a little bit because the Russians blew up a training camp of the International Legion near to Lviv, like in the west of Ukraine.
Wait, International Legion?
It's military.
So
it's like the French Foreign Legion, just in Ukraine.
So are those people from international that want to help?
Yeah, that's all volunteers who came to Ukraine just to help there.
And you wanted to go there? We
wanted to go there as a medical team of the International Legion is just soldiers, they are just fighting.
So they're literally just people from America that are like, I want to help.
Yeah, basically. So especially in the beginning, the International Legion was a lot like everybody who doesn't have a sense in life just going down there and be like, I'm a soldier, I'm helping. And there were a lot of people who didn't even were soldiers there, and they were sent to the front, and a lot of them died here. So we figured we need to do something medical because that's what we can do. But yeah, as I said, they attacked that training camp, and that was the moment I just realized, damn, okay, if we go to the Legion, we are soldiers. We aren't some kind of humanitarian aid workers or stuff anymore. We're going to die. It's kind of hard to say it like this, but that's basically what happened to most of the foreign volunteers who came there at the first place. Like, there's not much left of that there. So we figured we need something other to do than just go there and die, because we can't help anybody if we're just getting blown up or stuff. So we were looking like a bit through other organizations who were doing work there, and we met a German soldier who was working with a Swiss NGO, 22nd Wildlife they called. They mostly doing like anti-poaching stuff in South Africa, and wildlife firefighting also in South Africa and America, I think. Yeah, so that was the first team we were working with. We were stationed at the Polish side of the border and doing...
At the what? Polish side?
Polish side, yeah. So we weren't in Ukraine all the time at the first time. And we were just driving in and out of Ukraine to bring medical stuff, stuff for children's like diapers and milk powder and stuff inside of Ukraine, and to special places we knew where the stuff would be distributed, or like the medical stuff mostly went to hospitals and units who were fighting. So that was the beginning. So
at the first time you didn't... did you really give like medical help, or was it mainly like...
It was mainly driving... transport.
Okay.
Yeah. It was more like kind of logistics company there. We had like a big tent with everything in there. Like there was... It was just like the storage of a big hospital, and...
All donations?
Nice. It was all donations from mostly Germany, a little bit from Swiss. And we had some volunteers who came like every few weeks with a trailer full of stuff, and we got new stuff and just distributed that.
Nice. How long was the first time?
The first time was 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks just, And then, I mean, if we got back to Germany and be again in that normal setting, if you can call it like that, I knew I had to go back. So it was just like, I had seen what's happening there. Like, you have to imagine the first time I was driving into Lviv, the first thing you see, you're coming in from kind of like a highway, like a shitty highway, and there's a big traffic circle, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, there's just some firing positions from the Ukrainians, like with sandbags and stuff. And there's just a huge, how do you call it? Like a big pile of anti-tank mines just laying there. And I mean, I have never been to war before. I'm not a soldier. I've never seen that shit. And you just go in there and see like, I don't know how many explosion force there is inside this few tank mines. That was, that just reminded us of, we are now in war, in a war zone. We are in a war zone, and it was just different than here. You can't really put it in words how the feeling is when you go into a country that is in a state of war. Yeah, and so or at least I was sure I'm going to go back, and my colleagues from work, who I was working with, they also wanted to go back. So we got back the second time, like 1.5 months later. Same thing, we were still stationed at the Polish border, driving in and out. yeah, again for about 2 weeks, a little bit more, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then we started going deeper into Ukraine after that.
Wait, sorry. So you came there the second time and did basically the same thing again for the second time. Yeah. Okay. So also driving with the same people,
same team,
organization.
A little bit switched. Like
Yeah.
the team there was like all on and off. Like the volunteers were all coming in their free time. There was nobody getting paid or stuff for that. So yeah, it was just like take your vacations and go to Ukraine.
Yeah. So it was literally like your vacation and then
So at my work we get like 7 days of night shift, and then after that 7 days of free time to kind of get that hours straight again. So I always worked like one week of night shift, and at the last night shift morning I just got into the car and got to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then again 1 week after that I just put some vacation, and then 2 weeks easy.
Okay, damn. Yeah. So okay, the second time, and so did on the first 2 times, did anything happen there? Like, were there any situations where you were like in danger?
I don't think you could call it really danger. The most dangerous thing were more the Ukrainian soldiers standing at some block posts and stuff, and they were. So you have to imagine the first months of the war. It was so difficult to understand where the enemy is and what is happening, and before they got all that sorted, everybody was like, they were ready. They were ready all the time, and there had been a few situations with like border guards and stuff who were just assholes, and it's kind of still a difficult and dangerous situation because those are people with guns, and they are in a state of war. You don't know what's in their head and what's going to happen. So yeah, I have to always approach stuff with extremely caution. But we had a good team who was knowing what to do and when to do what. So I feel pretty safe the first 2 times.
Okay. So after that, I think you told me that the third time you didn't went with your organization, or is it right?
Yeah, that's right. So the first 2 times I met a Canadian volunteer, Alex Gallant, and yeah, he was just, I love this guy. He just how he's talking with his body and stuff. I love this guy. And so I texted him because I knew he was in Ukraine. He was in Kharkiv at that moment. That was August and September last year. So I texted him and be like, "Yo, let's meet."
August and September last year. So the war is already nearly 2 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years, basically.
Damn, 2 years. It doesn't feel like.
It's crazy. Shit. It's crazy how fast the time runs. Yeah. It's nearly 2 years now. Yeah. That's so fucking crazy.
I remember when it happened, I thought with my girlfriend at that time, we were like thinking about leaving Europe because it was like, fuck, like now it's probably all like the nuclear war is coming. Like in the first days, it was like, you don't know if like Germany is going to engage. You don't know if like
you knew nothing. Like, you knew nothing, and then especially at the Polish side of the border and rockets coming down closer to the border. Yeah. We had that a few times when we were stationed there, and we didn't hear the rockets or stuff, but we read it and we knew, okay, if one Russian rocket, and not accidentally a Ukrainian, hits Polish territory, that might be just the start of something real big and something we all don't want.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it didn't happen, and we're still here. It's still fine.
It's true. Okay, so you met this Canadian guy, Alex, right? Yeah. Okay, and you already met him the first 2 times.
Yeah, he was always there when I've never been to Ukraine with. Okay, the last time I've been to Ukraine, he wasn't there, but except that, all the times I've been there, he was there. And yeah, he really knows what he's doing, and so I trust him like 110%. He's the guy. And yeah, I texted him and be like, yo, bro, what's up? I would like to work with you again. Can I come down to Kharkiv? And he'd be like, yeah, bro, I'm here. Just text me when you're there. And I was like, damn, okay. So I got 2 friends of mine together to go there, because I don't get a driver's license, so I can't drive myself down there. And also, going alone into a war zone might be not the best idea. Yeah, so I took 2 friends of mine and borrowed the car from my mom. Like a little Citroen C1, like a fucking small car with 3 guys in there and stuff and donations. Like, we were stacked. The car was so stacked. There was no free space. Like, if we had to sleep in the car, we had to put all the stuff outside under the car and stuff, so it doesn't get wet and stuff, to sleep in there. And oh my god, it was very interesting. And so we got with that little car to Kharkiv. It's like 2,500 kilometers from here.
Holy shit.
It's a long ride. It's a long ride. And there we met up with Alex and a few other guys. Sandro, for example, who I was working with also with 22nd before and after that together. And a few other German volunteers, all great guys and girls. Very glad to meet them there, and from that team, the team we are working with now is kind of got out of there.
Okay, so this was like the first time.
It was like the first meeting with them, and it was. It's crazy in Ukraine. It's kind of like most of the foreign volunteers. So first of all, you always recognize each other. Like, you're going through the biggest shopping mall you can imagine, and everything is full and crowded with people, and you just spot a foreign volunteer like 200 meters far away. And it's always like kind of you knew each other for years. And it's not like you're getting to know a new person. It's more like you just know each other. And it's kind of weird, but it's just some kind of connection you got there, and something that really connects you, like going voluntarily into a war zone. I think that's kind of strong bind.
Can imagine. So it's like you're all on the same mission, and this connects.
That's basically it. So as I said, I'm very glad that I met that team there, and from there on I started going to Ukraine for a longer time.
What did you do like at the 3rd time and the times after?
The 3rd time we started doing more frontline work. Like, we were going really to the front line to supply the villages there with food, medical stuff, medications, all that kind of stuff. We were delivering.
But not for the soldiers, but for like the people.
Only for the civilians. Like, we were with 22nd, we were doing a little bit of military support, and after that, we switched completely to only humanitarian stuff, because it's just people like to donate more if they see it's going to civilians and really people who need it.
So you kind of built your own organization, collected your own donations, and then distributed it to the civilians on the front line. Did you also give like medical help at the time, or?
So medical help is always like, if something happens, we will do it, of course. But it's not like that we are going to, like, I don't know if you know what a Casevac vehicle is. Like it's if a soldier gets hit at the front, that's a vehicle who takes him out and stuff.
Yeah.
And there are a few foreign volunteer groups who are doing this stuff, but it's definitely more military support than it is some kind of humanitarian mission. And it's just difficult to get in there and be able to do this, because you need a lot of materials, you need permissions by the government, by the Ukrainian army, you need to get checked by SBU, that's the how is it called? Like the CIA of Ukraine.
Yeah, security.
Secret service, some kind
secret,
of that. So there is a lot you need to do just before you can start doing that. So we were not trying to do this because, as I said, there are other groups who are doing it, and also the Ukrainian military also got medical troops. Not enough, but they got some. So we figured we can help better if we try to focus on the civilians. Yeah, and that's what we did.
Okay.
So it was always like somehow get the products you need. That was also difficult.
Did you also work on this? So did you also?
Yeah, it's not like you got the job to get in the car, drive it down there, put it out of the car, and get back home.
Yeah.
It's you're your own boss. You have to do everything your own, and I'm, as I said, I'm very glad that I knew the people there, because myself, I wouldn't have done that. That's not my kind of work, to be honest. And they got like a big. So my team got like a big, connection there with a few bigger organizations who were supplying also food, but not to the frontline areas, more like to bigger cities like Kharkiv, Kupiansk, etc. So we got there to that organizations, asked them if we can have some of their food to bring it to specific villages and stuff. And that's how we got the most of our food. And if that wasn't possible, we somehow had to figure out a way how to buy it ourselves and then distribute it.
Did you also collect like donations in Germany? Did you?
So I had one donation campaign running with a few firefighters and medical staff here from Germany who were posting that shit on Instagram, and that was
it like the kitchen, like the
not the field kitchen. That was after the field kitchen. That time. That was this year, start of this year. And also I'm collecting like all the times before I go to Ukraine. I'm doing like a little, we call it Suppenfest, Soupfest basically, of soup celebration, I don't know. And I'm basically cooking an Ukrainian borscht. You know borscht? It's like a stew the Ukrainians like with meat and stuff inside. It's fucking nice. And I just cook it with my mom, and then we invite a few people from our friends and her friends, and then we get like a few hours in the garden eating soup and collecting donations, then telling a little bit about the work we are doing.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically how I get my donations.
And they support you, and this is like the money used to buy food and to buy gas, to buy like
everything.
Everything.
There's so much you need to buy. Like the first, not the first time. The first time this year we were going there. We were there for 2 months.
2 months in a row.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Okay.
And actually a little bit more because our car broke down. And the first thing we had to do was buy a car. So there was no way we were going with 4 grown guys inside a C1 to Ukraine ever again. Yeah, so we kind of figured we need to buy a car. And then we bought a car, and the first car we bought was completely broken, and it was just, we wasted a lot of money there. But important to notice, it was not donation money we wasted, it was all my own money I wasted there. Yeah, so the first car we bought was completely trash, so we had to throw it away like 3 weeks after we bought it.
Yeah.
And then we bought another car that was way more expensive, but still running. Had 2 times been to Ukraine now, had been in a very bad car accident. And yeah, I'm glad it's still driving.
Okay, so you got your own car from donations, and
yeah, and not only donations, like also my money, and I bought it with Sebastian.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, he's also going, like your roommate is also going to Ukraine. Okay. Damn. So after that, you had like one time you were like 2.5 months, and how often in total have you been there now?
So I've been 3 times really. No, 4 times. I've been 4 times really in Ukraine, like stayed there the whole time, and the 2 times at the border. Like
okay,
going
so like
in and out.
the first 2 times were like just on the border, and then after that 4 times really like
inside.
And those were like all pretty similar, that you went to really on the front line and supplied the villages, or did you do different things in those?
Yeah, it's kind of switching a little bit, but not the most important thing for us to do was still that humanitarian aid support at the front line. So we continue doing this. The team we are working with now, there's a German paramedic inside. She's called Lea, like very great paramedic, and she got like a rolling pharmacy. So we're going to villages and supply medicine, which is very important there, because they just can't go somewhere to get their medicine at the moment. So yeah, it's kind of important to bring it to their homes, because it's a lot of people got like heart disease and other chronic illnesses, just like high blood pressure and stuff. And it's not that you die from it if you don't take your pills for 1 day, pills for 1 day, but if that's like 3 weeks, you might get like a heart attack or a brain stroke or something like that. So that's a pretty important work for us to do. Yeah. We also did like evacuations from civilians, but again, there it's difficult to do that because you need a lot of permissions and stuff, and you can't just go to the small village, take the grandfather out, and then drop him off at the next bigger village. That's just not how it works. So there's a lot, like you have to know, if you take that granddad, where do I go with him? So you need another organization, or at least in our case it was like that. We needed another organization who could pick him up from a little bit further behind the front line and take him then down to one of their refugee camps. And it's a lot of work, and also again you need to be checked by SPU to do that and all that stuff. That's a lot of work, and especially as a foreign volunteer, like we were lucky, we had translators with us. But if you're trying to do evacuations without anybody who speaks the language, good luck.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work.
Come with us. Nope.
So that's just always difficult. So we are doing it if the need is there, but we are not like searching around for people to evacuate. Like that's. Okay. And also, again, with that, it's the same with the medical units. There are just so many organizations who just can do it better than us. And why should we go into their area of operations if we got our own shit to do?
Yeah.
So,
there's enough stuff you can help with.
Yeah, definitely. So there's always a needed hand. Like at the moment, my team over there is building houses or rebuilding houses, like getting them ready at the front line. Yeah, they're getting them ready for the winter, like isolate them, putting the roofs back on and stuff.
So bombed houses, and they try to repair them, fix them, so people can survive the winter. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't got a real house there at the moment, you're just...
It's cold.
So I can show you a few pictures later. Yeah. There's ice on the power lines and stuff, no electricity, and there's a video of my team just saw on Instagram. They're trying to drive straight and the car's just spinning around because there's always ice and stuff, and it's like -10, -18 degrees.
Oh shit! Yeah, you need a house.
That's
that is
that's cold as hell.
Do you know? Like I don't have like the information about how the war is going, but with this, are they even like? Is there something happening now when everything's like frozen?
At the moment, I think it's pretty tough stage of the war because the ground is still not frozen. It's like frozen at the top, but if you drive over it with the tank, you're just sinking in and you're in the mud.
Okay.
And I think everybody has heard of the Ukrainian mud now. It just sucks up everything. You drive in with a car, the car goes like a meter deep in the mud and you just suck. You can't get out of there. Yeah. So like big assaults or offensives, as far as I know, are not happening. Yeah. My guess is that they wait till the winter is really there and then start some assaults. I'm pretty sure the Russians trying to get Avdiivka, for example, back before the winter. Not back. They're trying to take Avdiivka before the winter, so they can just be in the city in the winter and not have to run over open fields and stuff. If that works, I don't know. Yeah. If the Ukrainians can push them back, I don't know. There's so much things that could happen nobody knew about. Yeah. We will see.
Did you meet a lot of also Ukrainian people? Can you like maybe
it's you meet a lot of Alex. Everybody's just called Alex or Dima. Like it's so funny. We get like just in our team we get like 3 Alexes.
Yeah.
Just
wait, Ukrainians?
No. That's all Germans and the Canadian guy, and one actually is a Russian but living in Germany since basically his whole life, and so it's very interesting. You go into a supermarket and you just want to talk to your buddy and you'll be like, yo, Alex. And everybody's like, huh? Yes? Hello? So working with Ukrainians is always very interesting because they just got another mentality, if you can say it like this. A lot of them are just like, I don't give a fuck about anything. That's what I experienced, at least. So some Ukrainians are pretty badass and just doing stuff you shouldn't do.
Yeah. You have some stories, or?
We get like in. It was back in August, September. I think beginning of September should be. We were going in the area of Balaklia, which is. At that time, the front was different. Like the Russians were inside of Izium, and they got like whole Izium, and they were just pushing further in the direction of Kharkiv. So we were going to a mission in the area of Balaklia, which is near there, and we had an Ukrainian POC, we call it, like point of contact. He knew the area. He was doing also a little bit of volunteer work. So we took him with us, or he was driving in front of us to show us the road down there. And we were driving, and we all geared up, like plate carrier, helmet and stuff. And that guy just throws plate carrier on, but there's still a photo I have to show you later. And the plate carrier is like hanging somewhere here, so it doesn't protect anything. And he was just like, kind of just a badass guy. Yeah. And then we were stopping, he was stopping, and we were stopping behind him, and we were like, what's happening now? We're driving through the front. Why are we stopping? And he was like, just got out of his car. you guys, go, straight, left. Und wir waren so, okay, aber warum fährst du, sorry, okay, but why aren't you driving with us? And he was like, to danger this. Getting back in his car and just driving back. And we were like, oh my god, what's happening now? But I mean, we were there, so we just continued driving and did our mission. And that was also pretty interesting time there. That was the first time we were getting shot at by a plane.
By plane?
It was dropping. There's still a video of that existing. Just a plane, like it was not dropping a bomb directly on us, but I guess it was like one click away, 1 kilometer away.
Yeah.
And you felt that blast. It has to be I think it's Su-27.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
So
however,
some kind of bomb that is pretty...
Yeah, that's a fighter jet, the Su-27,
okay,
and it was like 200-ton bomb or something. That's fucking big bomb.
So what did they bomb? Did they try to bomb you? Or?
No, they tried to bomb some kind of Ukrainian. I guess it was like ammo storage or stuff, but I don't know. So we were. You have to imagine that area like in a little valley with one big hill. On top of that, there were Ukrainians, and the jet was flying and hitting that hill, and we were in that valley looking up that hill.
And you really felt the blast.
We felt the blast. We were next to a house of like an old grandfather there, and the windows were shaking, and so the windows that were still left there, most windows were just covered up with some plastic wrap. There was everything shaking, and the grandpa came out of the house and completely confused what just happened, and at first place, and then my buddy Alex came to him and with his 3 words of Ukrainian tried to ask if everything is okay and stuff, and the granddad was just like so just he didn't even care anymore, so a little bit confused, but still he just knows that it would happen and kind of accept it.
That's the risk that you take if you stay there. What kind of people stay at the front line? Like if you say you help civilians on the front line, is it only like the grandpas, or are there also young people?
Mostly older people. So the most time we heard that the people don't want to leave because of the animals and stuff. Like they got one cow and two pigs, and they don't want to leave them there because that's basically all they have, and I kind of respect that decision, but it's kind of frustrating to have to go to some areas. Like there is a little village completely underneath of Bakhmut. There are, I don't know if there are still people left, I don't think so, to be honest, but the time we were there at the beginning of this year, there were like 4 people left. And if you want to go there, you at least need also 4 people and 2 cars to go in a village that's not safe to go, not safe at all, completely messed up roads and stuff, and that's just for 4 people. So you kind of need to figure something out if that's even possible for you to do. And it's kind of frustrating if you can't do it because of that bad situation and stuff. And you kind of have to be careful that you don't blow yourself up while trying to have 4 people. Like,
exactly. And then if you go
so difficult,
stupid danger, then you can't help anyone.
That's it. So it's just difficult situations like that where you have to decide, we can't help them anymore because it just gets too difficult and not enough use in there, if you can say it like that. Like there's still use in giving 4 people food, but not if we probably
can help
kill our cars and ourselves at the weight they are down there.
Exactly. Was this the situation with the bomb? Was this like the most danger?
No.
No? Okay, tell me
No.
where.
We had a few situations in. So first, in August, September, we were working Kharkiv front.
Yeah.
Like Kharkiv Oblast, there's like Kupiansk, Kiev-Sharivka, all that areas around. Most likely more upwards, like northeast. And then we switched this year to Donbas area. So we are stationed in Kramatorsk, which is like 25 clicks maybe behind Bakhmut on the Ukrainian side. And the Donbas is just different. The Donbas is
more dangerous.
It's fucking dangerous. There's no safety and stuff. It's just Donbas. You can imagine like everything is always hit with anything all the time. There's always something exploding near you if you're going close to the front line. Or not even that close to the front line. You can be still 10 clicks from the front line away and still artillery hitting shit and rockets and stuff. And sometimes you see some jets flying over. There's a lot going on there. And we had situations there, like in our base. We were just, it was evening, we were laying in bed, I had something to drink and watching some kind of stupid series. And we were just lying down there and suddenly there's a big boom and the rocket is just hitting like 300 meters next to your house. Which is like you just, but it's interesting that you just get used to it so
grandfather
quickly. It's the first times we were hearing explosions while we were sleeping and stuff. We got up, put on plate carrier, put on helmet, moved inside of the apartment. Like, so you always say like you need to have 2 walls between you and the potential impact zone, so you get away from the outer walls and try to go into staircase and stuff because it's the most structure or stable part of the whole house. Mm-hmm. If you got a cellar, you go to the cellar, but we didn't have one. But that happened basically every night for 2 weeks.
And at some point
5 to 10 big explosions every night. And after like 1 week we were like, fuck you, we don't want to do that anymore. We just stayed in bed, which is, to be honest, pretty stupid to do, but it was just like, we didn't want to bother with it anymore because it's, what are you doing? You're sitting down there with your plate carrier and helmet and all the stuff and just waiting for anything to happen. I mean, I can wait that in my bed as well. Yeah. So
why don't you just sleep in the staircase with your plate carrier on?
Because the staircase was smelling like piss. Okay. The whole staircase was just smelling like old piss. It was so nasty.
You have to weigh your risk.
Yeah. I mean, we were carrying gas masks, but I don't want to. No. I'm not sure if the gas mask can filter even the piss smell. So I'm not trying that. And that's like the situation that happened the most often. That really was dangerous. Other than that, we had a few situations, jets flying over us, some kind of drones flying over us.
With the drones, it is scary, right?
It's fucking scary. So the last time I was there, we were on a mission together with the police down there.
The Ukrainian police?
The Ukrainian police and like military police, all looking like soldiers with this, which is pretty fucked, to be honest, if you're going on a humanitarian mission and you got like 3 big guys with camo jackets on and an AK in their hands. But the good thing was they had radios with them, and they got like an intelligence unit there who was checking the airspace above us. And then the guy came to us and was like, go guys, there is drone over us. We were like, oh,
This is a problem.
maybe we should leave now. Yeah. So that's, you just can't see the drones. It's so high up and you don't know if they are carrying anything, if they are just spotting for the artillery which is going down. It's difficult. Drones is probably the most shitty thing in that war, which this war brought up. So I mean, there was never a war with that much of just cheap ass Chinese drones strapped with a big boom and just flown into a tank or stuff. That's just new in that war, and it's also not really a good system to counter that attack. Like there are some jamming guns and stuff, but that's just not realistic to use, especially as a humanitarian team. I mean, we aren't soldiers taking down some drones. That's not us.
So I can imagine that's like real drone paranoia, that whenever you see the fucking bird, it's like, oh, fuck is it?
Actually, it was that's what she's saying is basically how the whole way to Balaklia was with the mission we had talked about a few minutes ago. I was just sitting there and looking out of the windshield. We were straightly driving through the front, like just one straight line. I was looking and looking all the time. You're seeing a bird, like not going this with its wings, more like just static in the air. You'd be like, is that a drone or a bird? And then, it's always like trying to get some binoculars out and trying to spot it more, but most of the time it's just a bird, to be honest. I'm also kind of scared of drones now. So if there's a drone just hovering above me here in Germany, I don't like it. I really don't like it. If that sound propellers are doing, I just can't stand it. That I really hate that.
Okay.
Yeah, and to get back to the dangerous situations, there were a few times we were shot at by, I guess it was artillery, it could be a mortar as well. One time we were just coming back from a mission, driving out of Chasivjare, which is basically the next big village behind Bakhmut. And we were driving outside very fast because the situation there is always stupid dangerous. Shouldn't be there for too long. And the artillery shell hit like 50 meters next to us. I mean, we were driving in the car. That was basically our luck that we were driving and they didn't have the chance to get the second hit.
They truly spotted you and tried.
That was on us. That was on us. That was not just something. Accident. There was nothing. We were driving. You have to imagine it like going out of Chasivjare. You go somehow over a hill, and it's pretty straight. And on the right side of it is just a big field, and on the left side it goes kind of like down a little bit. And there's nothing. There's just nothing else instead of fields and that road.
Yeah. And you were the only car?
We were the only car on the road.
So it was not an accident.
They were shooting at us. And I mean, our cars are marked with red crosses and stuff, but it just doesn't help.
They can mark a lot of cars with red crosses.
So, that's probably the really most dangerous situation I've been in. The other ones are all kind of like, it's still far away, but that, and the last time I was there, the first mission for that deployment, again, Chasivjare, basically same area where we nearly got hit. And we were driving with two cars, and first car going past, and then I think it was mortar that time, hit between our cars, but a bit off from the road. So we weren't in that kind of danger, but it was still fucking close. And imagine that as the first mission for the deployment, just going in, you haven't heard any explosions like close and stuff, and you're going in and it just goes boom. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh fuck, yeah. Did you, the car that you bought, did you paint it? Yeah,
it's
like,
the one outside of.
Oh, I
don't
didn't
know if
see
you
it.
see
So
it.
it's like you really like painted with
It's
like
OD green and
then the red cross on it.
and we don't get a red cross on it because of that that they also target cars with red crosses, and
so
sometimes they preferably target cars with red crosses because I mean it's against Geneva Convention, but to be honest, no one cares there. So I mean, from a military point of view, you can somehow there's a sense in just killing the guys who are helping before killing the other guys who
exactly.
needed the help.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a still fucked up situation.
So you just painted all the car in like colors,
it's
so it's
just
not
green, so we can kind of cover it up. If we are going to an area, we can just park under a tree and throw a few sticks on top, and it's mostly fine.
Yeah,
it's not the optimal thing to do because it's still OD green. It just looks like a military car. And everything that looks like military, you get some problems with Ukrainian guys at checkpoints and stuff because they're like, why you drive Ukrainian car? Why you drive military vehicle and stuff? And it's not the yellow from the egg, how we Germans say it. But it's working. Working so far.
You also said you had the car accident?
That was actually probably the most dangerous situation we have been in. It was. We were in Kharkiv. That was the beginning of this year, in April, I guess. We were just. So the people in Ukraine, that's you can't compare to German highway or German driving and stuff. That's just completely different. You just drive when it's free and you want to drive. There are like traffic lights and stuff, and they are used, but just doesn't help when there's a street like 5 rows and a lot of cars going there, and most of them completely broken down. And driving in Ukraine sucks. Driving in Ukraine really sucks. And we just wanted to turn. Like there was a big road, like with on every side, like 4 or 5 rows, and it was just road like this going from the main road, and we were trying to go over there.
So to the side,
and
like U-turn or
no U-turn, just turning inside another street from the main street.
Okay.
So we had to cross the lines that were coming against us, and there was I don't know how to describe it. There were a few lines to go to the left side. It was kind of stupid. And we got overtaken on the left side by a Ukrainian military vehicle from the International Legion. And she just smacked the shit out of our car. That was like a completely.
She rammed you.
Yeah, she completely took the whole front left side, completely fucked.
Off the car that you bought.
Yeah. Oh. So it's back on, and the wheels are spinning again, but it was so completely bent, everything, and it's still not fine. So if we have to get new TÜV,
it's gonna
that's the end. So there's
hard,
like the metal frame is bent and stuff. So that car is basically over after that accident, but. It did what it had to do. Yeah. So.
But you will probably still go again with this car. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, the good thing in Ukraine is that there are really, really good mechanics. Yeah. They don't have some kind of degree, the most of them, or qualification to do what they are doing, but they know what to do, and they're not fixing it like. A car shop here in Germany would do, like after some kind of checklists and stuff, and all time the right material and all that. They just do it like they want to do it, and they make it running again. That's the most important stuff. I remember our exhaust basically was completely rusted off basically when we arrived there, and we had to do something about it because the car was just sounding like a tank if you started it. So we went to a mechanic, and it was just like a little garage with a little hole in the middle, so he could look under the car and stuff. And he just welded a piece of a street sign to it. And that was how he fixed our exhaust. Yeah. That's it.
Nice.
Now we got a new exhaust, not an original, but from a Lada Niva, like the standard Russian off-road vehicle.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty nice, to be honest. It's very nice. Yeah.
Nice.
And I love that about Ukraine. It's just they will fix everything.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
You also told me last time we met that you met like people, like not, I don't know if it were like soldiers, but like that you could like, I don't know if you can talk about this, but like you like threw a hand grenade and stuff, or
yeah. So there is a few times when you're just kind of got something that some other person is needing, and so it just happens that you meet each other and you just understand each other pretty good. And sometimes Ukrainian soldiers like to give something to the foreign volunteers, if you can say it like that. So that guy invited us to go on a shooting range with him, and we had the option to shoot a little bit AK-47 and PKM.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for the last part of that day, he brought 2 hand grenades to try. It was very interesting. I mean, I've never shot a gun before. I actually thought it would be way harder of the recoil and stuff, but it was pretty chill to shoot the AK at least. Yeah, interesting feeling just having a gun in your hand and shooting and kind of have the power to kill somebody in your hands in just like 5 kilo of steel. Yeah, that's kind of weird feeling. It was very interesting. We were just shooting a little bit, like not real target shooting or stuff, just trying everything out. And yeah, then we came to the point where we were supposed to throw some hand grenades, and yeah. It was interesting to have a fragmentation grenade just detonate, like, so we were standing at the top of like a little hole, and he was just throwing it in the hole, and we were just going down on the ground. Yeah. He was like, if I throw, you go down. And then he's pulling the pin and just throwing it instantly. We're just all going down to the ground, and it was very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
Okay. How did you experience the moral, or like the Ukrainian people? How did it develop, like from the beginning to now?
That's a very good question. So at the beginning, there was definitely, I've never seen people who are that strong like the Ukrainians at the beginning of the war. They were all just working together, and they were ready just to fight against their enemy. And that was crazy to see. Like,
looks like the whole country was like,
just like one country. Not like here in Germany where there's fractions of everything and everybody is messing around with everybody. It was just one country. One country fighting against. I mean, there's still some people who were pro-Russian and stuff. There will ever be, but most people were just like one team. Yeah. And at the beginning, the people were very grateful for the things we were doing, like just coming to Ukraine to do anything at the border. They were all like, thank you for doing what you're doing. That definitely changed. No one fucking cares. No one cares if you're a volunteer going to Ukraine. It's you're just one of many. Okay. That kind of switched, and I guess it's fine because you don't have to be a hero or don't have to be celebrated as a hero if you go into the country, because it's still your decision. Yeah, you make the stupid decision to go to a war zone. So, yeah. Now it kind of changed. The people they just don't want to have the war anymore. They're tired of it, and it's they are tired. I think that's the best way to describe it. And I've experienced a few people in the villages next to the front line who
soldiers or civilians?
Civilians. They just didn't want to live anymore. They have been fleeing. Like there was one older lady living in just a little small. It was like a garden shed or something, and she was fleeing from Bakhmut to, I don't know how the village was called. Doesn't matter. However, she was fleeing 2 times, and both times her house got bombed, and she just nearly survived that shit. And then she fled down there, and the area we were working there where we met her was like 500 meters from the gray zone.
Gray zone means
gray zone, like line 0, where the real fighting is happening, and just a matter of time till that house gets blown up as well. And maybe she survives, maybe she doesn't. And yeah, she was telling us she didn't want to live anymore because everything she got was just blown up. And it's difficult to hear, and I mean, you're still trying to help them, but again, you're stuck in the same situation we were talking about earlier. Just can't go there for one person. There's no sense in wasting hundreds of euros on fuel to get there and get back, and potentially fucking up your car or don't get back. There's so much that can happen. So that's difficult. That's difficult. Yeah. I think the soldiers are still pretty strong in their mentality, and they are still willing to fight. But again, it's not anymore as strong as it was at the beginning of the war.
Yeah. I remember the first time you met, you told me that they were like, the Ukrainian soldiers were like really like full of morals, like all like they were like really the Ukrainian soldiers sit there and were like planning on how to beat the Russians the best way, and the Russians were like, okay, what you told me, like the Russians were like, okay, getting drunk in the evening, and like they were forced to fight, and the Ukrainians, they wanted to fight, which is like a really, really big difference.
That was at the beginning of the war, where most of the Russians, as far as I know, didn't even knew they were going to Ukraine. They were just sent to Ukraine and be like, yeah, you're going on an exercise, and no, it was not an exercise. It was a full-scale invasion of another country. So there's still a lot of Russian soldiers, if you can call it soldiers, or conscripts. Is probably a better word to say it.
What is conscript? What does it mean?
It's like you getting drafted into the army for 2 years or stuff. I don't know how long it is in Russia. And also like the prisoners, they got out of their prisons in Russia to fight at the front line. I don't know if you heard about that. Those were basically the guys who took Bakhmut. Mostly prisoners, like killers and rapists, and disgusting what was fighting there.
Holy fuck.
And they had a little bit more of a moral, like more more will to do something.
The prisoners.
The prisoners,
Yeah, I can imagine,
just
like,
because that was their
psychopath,
way
yeah.
how to get out of the prison.
Yeah.
Just like you had to sit there for 30 years in prison. No, you just go 2 years fighting in Ukraine.
Then
You're out. It doesn't matter if you rape somebody or kill somebody. It just doesn't matter.
kill some more people and you're free.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely changed the situation. And I think the Russians are getting exhausted from all they are doing because they got like so many losses a day. I think that's kind of on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, probably the Russians a little bit more because they are the occupation force. They have to get inside, that which costs a lot more manpower than just defending something. Yeah, so...
But still, the Russians, they have like a nearly endless supply of new people that they can send. So it's like in the Ukraine, at some point it's going to be like...
There's an end somewhere. Yeah, it's getting very interesting, this war, especially now where everybody is like digging in and they're building so big trench systems and stuff. I don't see neither one of the sides of the conflict sides really getting some kind of big offensive or something. I just can't imagine. I would be happy to see the Ukrainians go on an offensive and get their whole territory back, but to be fair, I don't think it will happen soon.
Yeah. So how do you, like, from your view as a person that was there, how do you think it's gonna play out? Like, I know
I get that question often.
It's a really hard
asked,
question, but like, you are one of the best people that for me I can ask, because all the other people just have information from the television, you know.
So
like,
my personal guess is that it will stay how it is like now, pretty much. Like, they will continue to dig themselves in and try to build better trenches and stuff. And I've seen that in Ukraine. They're far away from the front line. Like, so the system about it is, you got the gray zone, then you got a few lines of defense, mostly first line, second line, and third line. Third line is far away from the front.
So and this is like worst case.
Yeah,
if
if you have to go back 2 times and that would be the worst case scenario. Yeah. So I've seen that the third line of defense is getting very, very big fortified. Like, they put how's it called in English? Steel.
Say the German word, maybe I can.
Stahlbeton.
Okay, steel. Yeah, I don't know, like steel concrete. I don't know.
Concrete. That's
like
what I searched.
Steel reinforced concrete. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the word I searched for. And they're just building bunkers out of it now. And at the beginning, they were just putting some planks over it to create a bunker, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, wood is still enough to stop like a little mortar and stuff, but now they are very getting it up, and also like little towers and stuff. It's getting a real stationary war. Like, it's so I think they will stay for a long time in those trenches and just get like the war how it basically was since 2014, since Russia firstly invaded Ukraine. So I mean, in 2014 they took Crimea and started getting into Donbas area. Donbas is like Donetsk Oblast and Luhansk Oblast, which together forms the Donbas. And in both of those areas, there is, since 2014, Russian troops fighting against Ukrainian troops. But not that big of a deal, and it's not not officially the Russian army, which doesn't make it that bad. It's more like DPR and LPR. That's Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic, which is basically a little private military from those two cities.
So it's like a Russian group and the Ukrainian
it's a
group.
Russian-supported group in Ukraine.
And one of
basically.
them is like, okay, this is Russia, and the other one is like, no, this is Ukraine, and they were like fighting for since 2014.
Yeah, they're basically fighting since 2014, and that's what makes the Donbass also so fucked, because there's just lying how's it called? Unexploded ordnance, like artillery shells and stuff, just lying around, and mines and stuff. It's just dangerous as fuck. So I think the war will end. I'm not sure if it will end like this, but I'm pretty sure it will stay for this long time. Okay. So that Ukrainian army just is in their trenches,
so probably
looking up that no Russians advance, and if somebody is advancing, they shoot. And not big assaults or offensives. I don't think that's going to happen.
So probably the border will just like 45, and at some point this is the end, and the part that Russians take is Russia. And
I think so. That's my best guess, but I mean,
like everything can happen. That's like,
if we're unlucky tomorrow, the nukes are flying. I don't know. There's so much shit that can happen, and
also with the American re-election, like
especially that will be very, very interesting. What's about to happen there? I have no clue. We have to wait for it and see what's happening.
This is super interesting. I also, like, with my podcast, I ask people about like the main goal I told you about is like also more like philosophical, and now I ask you a lot about like what you are doing in Ukraine, but maybe another question, like in the philosophical way, like why are you doing this?
That's a good question.
You are risking your life to help people, like
it's as I said, at the first place I just saw videos of Ukraine, people dying, buildings getting completely demolished by rockets and stuff, and that just kind of switched a switch in my head, and I couldn't stand it, just sitting at home while just 2,000 kilometers. That's not that far. You can drive that in 24 hours if you're driving very fast. So I figured I just had to do something. I can't sit at home and just watch videos of people dying. I mean, I could just stop watching those videos, but that's kind of not how my brain works at that time. And I was thinking about going to Syria before, to fight there, but I'm glad I didn't do that. I was reading a lot about I don't know how deep you're in that area of the world. So it's in Syria. There's the YPG fighting and stuff. That's the Kurds fighting against Turkish and ISIS and basically everything. Just fighting against everybody. And I watched a documentary about it, and there was a guy, I sadly forgot his name. He was doing medical training, and he kind of just built a little hospital in a bigger city in Syria. And I kind of wanted to do something like that, but it's very, very difficult to get to Syria. That was before the war even started. It was like half a year before the war started.
Okay.
And I was pretty sure.
Already had like the inclination.
I was pretty sure I'm going to Syria, and I was looking around and planning how I could get there the best, but it's very, very difficult to get into Syria. So I mean, you have to hike across Iran, and that's not my way of traveling, to be honest. And I don't want to get shot by some Syrian, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't want to die for nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, then the war in Ukraine started, and then I figured, okay, so just way easier to go to Ukraine, and maybe it's also a little bit better than directly with no experience going into a country that has been in war, in civil war basically since, or religion war since basically ever. So I figured Ukraine near NATO countries, it's still a little bit safer than going to Syria. Yeah, and I guess why I want to do that is basically why I'm working as a paramedic. I've just got that inside of me, that helper syndrome, if you can call it like that. I just can't stand that, watching shit happening and don't doing anything about it. That was probably my main reason to go there.
Yeah. How does it feel like to go there to help?
So at the first place, it's always kind of exciting. So you just
when you see the big bunch of mines like
it's
Ukraine
you don't even have to be near Ukraine for you're packing your car at home and you're throwing in the plate carrier and stuff, and you're sitting in that car and you just know you're going to Ukraine, and your heart goes like a little bit faster, and you're just ready to go there. And it's exciting. At first times I didn't even was scared or something. Like, my parents were way scared, more scared than I was, and I didn't even think that much about what really could happen, to be honest. I knew I could die there if shit really hits the fan, but it doesn't seem like real to me that it really could happen. It's more like, I could die there. But was not like all the time in my head or stuff. And accept that. How is it feeling in Ukraine? Yeah, as I said, it's especially when you're with other foreign volunteers, just like a brotherhood. You really feel that brotherhood, and you're just, as I said, you're on the same wave. Just good to work together. And I think Ukraine taught me a lot of very, very important lessons for life. And it's always feeling good and kind of like coming back home.
When you go there, it feels like coming back home.
It's weird. It's weird. It's completely weird, and I can't. I don't know why. I've been there for like in total maybe 5 months now, something like that, and it's. I don't got anything there. I don't got a flat or stuff there, but it just feels like you're getting back home, back to your family. That it's completely weird.
Yeah.
But that's how it feels. So it's always exciting, and I'm always happy if I can go there.
Yeah. Damn. How does Germany feel in comparison?
Oh my God, don't ask me that. I hate Germany. I hate it being here. Yeah? It's so stupid to be back here, and you have to deal with so much stupid shit. So if you're getting back to work from working at the front line, where you're your own boss and you're just doing what you need to do to work, and at work you get back and there's people just cussing about each other and just stupid stuff. Like, we don't got a real problem here in Germany, so we make our own problems. That's what I tell everybody I'm talking with about, and that kind of causes, from my opinion, the society to split apart a little bit more here in Germany. So there's so much stupid shit people are just thinking about and be mad about, and I just don't see it anymore. That's for me, it's all like, fuck it. I don't need all the shit. We got like a war 2,000 clicks from here. And that's very weird to get back here. And also like the traffic, no, not the traffic lights, lanterns.
Yeah.
Is it called like that?
Yeah,
I think so.
The lanterns that are on at night that make the streets.
That doesn't
street lights.
Street lights. Yeah. That just doesn't exist in Ukraine. It's they don't use it because of some air raids and stuff in the night. You just.
It's done.
I mean, it's like Germany did it a few years back, a few more years back. When we get bombed, just turn off. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm confused. Like, I don't remember that we turned off.
Yeah, that's a few years ago. So that's just it's just weird to be back here. And I mean, I can sit here and just order everything I need and get everything I need, and I'm sitting in a warm house. If it's getting too warm, I can turn down the heating. And in Ukraine you can't do that, for example. You got like one big heater for that whole house, and it's, I don't know how to translate it in English, it's just one pipe basically going through all the apartments. And if that your neighbor living under you is turning his radiator off, the whole house above him just doesn't get any warm water. And it will only heat if the city activates it. It's not like that you can put it on in your own house or stuff. So I'm talking about big houses. Like there's still smaller houses which can do that, but in the bigger apartments it's always like that. There's just that kind of heating. Yeah, and you just can't turn it on. You're just stuck without heating.
So all the problems we have here in Germany, they are like so small, it's just meaningless in comparison.
Yeah.
It's like
that's the thing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and also being here in Germany, like there is a little fire station here in that village, and they got like a siren.
Yeah.
Like a warning siren, exactly like the air raid alerts in Ukraine were.
Yeah.
And I know every second Wednesday of the month at 18 o'clock, the sirens will go.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But if it's like 5 minutes before 6 or stuff, I'm just getting up. I'm sitting at the computer with headphones on and stuff, but I hear that just so quiet, but I hear it. I have to get up, look out the window and check if anything is happening.
Yeah.
Which is completely stupid because I know I'm in Germany and that there are no jets flying over here which are dropping bombs.
Jets flying, but
no one that drops bombs on my house, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I guess we are pretty safe here in Germany, so I didn't have to
worry about it. Yeah.
But that's like small things that just stayed from Ukraine, and I think they will stay for a long time.
Yeah.
Also, last New Year's Eve, fucked, just fucked. So this year I'm just going to barricade myself inside and close everything, put on earphones, and that's it. It just sounds like an artillery coming next to you, some kind of fireworks. It's basically the same sound. And last year I had the situation, I was I was celebrating it alone. I'm more or less celebrating. I had to work the next day, so I was just sitting on the balcony, drinking something.
Yeah.
And our neighbors just shot a rocket under their like a little outside roof, and it came back down and hit inside our next to our balcony. And I was sitting on that balcony, and I was so, I mean, I had drank a little bit, so I was not that 100% there, but the second it hit and exploded, I was basically going to the ground to cover myself. Just again stupid, because I knew it was New Year's Eve, but that's just things that are staying in my head, and they will stay in my head.
So the sound of drones, the sound of alarms, the sound of explosions is like all like connected to it now.
Yeah, definitely. That's I mean, let's wait if it's getting better or worse. I don't know.
Depends how often you go.
I think it always feels better to be back there than being here with that kind of thoughts and listening to sirens and stuff. That's just in Ukraine. Your body is in a state of being ready all the time. There is not that kind of situation like here in Germany, where you just lay down on the couch and just be out of everything. In Ukraine, you're always there. And if something like the sirens go or the fireworks go off here in Germany, my body is switching to that mode instantly. It's not a decision I make, it's just happening. And then I'm kind of back in the Ukrainian mindset. That's the mindset I got when I'm in Ukraine.
You also said that when you were thinking about Syria and in the beginning, I think, of Ukraine, you also thought about like really fighting. How are your thoughts about this now?
Yeah, as I said, I'm not a soldier. There are people who can do that. I can't do that. I'm not trained. I don't want to get trained by some weirdest American guys. I mean, there is, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of very, very good instructors in Ukraine, but there's also instructors that are just got there. I don't know if they are still there, but I knew there were instructors that were just not real instructors. They were just instructing something. And I mean, you can imagine how that ends if you're going into a war zone with basically the second biggest army of the world, and all training you got is from some, let's say, foreign volunteer soldier. I don't want to say any countries or stuff, who had fought one time in Afghanistan and was in a mortar unit in Afghanistan and shot one mortar and is now trying to teach me how I should use a rifle and stuff. That's just not going to happen. And I know a lot of people who are joining the military, especially now when the war is so prolonged.
Germans or
the Germans, Americans, Canadians, everything. Everything.
So like from the crew and like around.
There's a lot of people.
So they're like the people that were before like giving you humanitarian help with you. Some of them are joining the military now, or
a few.
Okay,
a few. Not the. I think I'm allowed to say that. I'm just going to say it. For example, Alex, the guy who basically brought me into Ukraine, is now training the military.
He is
training military. He can do that because he knows what he is doing. That's just him, and there's one more German guy I don't know personally, but I've texted a little bit with him. He's going to the military right now. I think he joined like this Monday. Also Christina is also volunteer, Ukrainian volunteer, also working in Donbass. She joined the military a few weeks ago. just many people joining the military.
So they will okay. So then they will join the Ukrainian forces. Really, they will. Or
most likely. So the internationals, they first mostly join the International Legion because there's just not that language barrier.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're trying to get them there, and from the International Legion there's a few different teams, and you can try to get on different teams. And if you're a medic, you can try to get into the Hospitalières, which is a separate brigade from the... I'm actually not sure if it's real official Ukrainian military. I don't think so, but it's basically just a medical unit. So they are carrying guns and stuff, but they are only there for medivacs and saving lives.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways how you can start fighting in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I really would wanted to do it, there will be ways to get a good qualification before going there, but I just don't want it.
Yeah.
If I die while rendering humanitarian aid, that's somehow, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to die for war that is just useless. There's no sense behind that war. But there is a sense in the people's lives. So that's why I'm sold as a paramedic and not a soldier. I want to help people and not kill people.
Yeah.
Also, I don't even know if I could really kill somebody. That's...
Yeah.
How should you know if you never tried? But it doesn't feel right to pull up a gun. I'm so scared of guns, man. That's just... As I said, 5 kilos of steel, and they got the power to just demolish a whole squad.
Yeah.
You can just... That's just difficult, and I think I just found my space where I belong to, and I'm glad that I'm there where I am.
Imagine. Nice. Are you planning to go more often?
Of course.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the biggest problem is, first of all, that the flat I'm currently living in, as I said, I have to stay here for the next few years and pay it. So I just can't go be like, I don't care, I just go forever to Ukraine, which I definitely would have done if I would have lost that flat here.
Yeah, okay.
So, I'm basically in the need of my boss at work to give me unpaid vacation to go there for that long, because with only my vacation, that's not going to work with 27 days a year. So I'm very happy that by now I got my chef, my boss, to allow me to do what I do, and that was a long way. So for the first whole year, I was only doing it in my vacation or after my night shifts, and it just didn't work out anymore because it's too short time periods to really do something. And then I had a few talks with them, and now they are fine with me leaving for 1 or 2 months sometimes. I'm pretty sure I'm kind of at the brim at the moment. I have to chill a little bit because I had been 3 a month last year in Ukraine. Oh, that's a lot, especially if you're working in a hospital with no personnel there. So I have to chill now a little bit, but I'm planning to go back.
Very cool. Nice, Bjarne. I really enjoyed this conversation. So interesting. Thank you for sharing all of this. I really admire that you, exactly, this is the word, that you're doing this, and I think it's really cool that you're
Thank you
It's
very
like
much.
yeah, it's a really nice thing to do. It's a nice thing. Can tell your children one day that you, in case
Definitely.
everything works out fine for you and for the world.
We will see.
We will see. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me here.
This has been a Rational Optimization podcast. I hope you learned something. Guys, I made something cool. On my website, I made a list with my favorite episodes. So if you haven't listened to all the episodes that I already made and you want to know where to start, like there I listed like in the rank of how much I like them, all the episodes, and I regularly, like whenever there are new episodes that I really like, I update the list. The link is in the description. Enjoy.